Hello, my name is Catherine Desper Brocksterman. This is my in between junior and senior year of college. My major is history for secondary education, and with that, I have to take lots of economics, and this was one of the ones I thought would be interesting. My hometown, I grew up in a town called Livermore, which is right on the outside of the Bay Area of California, and then I moved to San Leandro, which is directly south of Oakland. um, One thing I'm looking forward to is being outside a lot more. This winter, even though I've heard it wasn't even cold, I was inside all of the time, so I can't wait to be back outside this summer. The country that I chose for this assignment was Brazil. It is the largest South American economy and definitely an interesting one. Their real GDP from 2024 to 2025 was $2.186 trillion dollars, and it has been growing by the year, especially after COVID. They tend to go through cycles where they grow and then they drop, and then they grow and they drop. But right now they're in a growing period and they're trying to not drop so much. Their real GDP per capita in US dollars is $9,564. Um, they have a fairly low unemployment rate given previous years. As of 2025, they had an average unemployment of 5.8, 5.9, some places 5.1, which is a pretty dramatic difference because during COVID 2021, 2022, when they still had their president Bolsonaro, it was around 14% unemployment. So in just a few years, they've definitely gotten back to a pretty normal rate. Um, they have grown a lot since their president Bolsonaro left office in 2022, and they have increased their exports, imports, and production in a lot of ways since his end to his presidency. They have nearly 25% export increase in the last 4 years, so from 2021 to 2025, which was even more than before COVID, and their imports have increased by 27% in that same time period, 2021, 2025. Um, they do have a pretty high labor participation rate. It is about 62%. That's of March of 2026, while the US participation rate is 61.8. So they're doing just barely better than us. And that probably is because of their really great economic standing. They have largely monopolized nearly a lot of agriculture, especially in soybean production. I believe they hold around 40% of the world's production of soybeans, and they have been having an increase in beef uh, monopolization. I wouldn't so much call it that. They're at 20% though of the world's beef production. And this is because it is something that grows readily in that climate. And so when you think about everything that has soybeans in it, because they're able to produce so much, that is definitely a big factor into their exports as well as their iron production, which is definitely growing their GDP and their GDP per capita because they need to hire farmers and workers on all of these farms. And they do have a pretty diverse economy, but agriculture is definitely one of the high ones, same with mining and their iron ore industries. Um, and I would say that they are pretty heavily dependent on trade. So with that, exports being at uh, 25%, imports being 27%, just doing the math on how much they were doing it, they are 28.8% dependent on trade from the trade to GDP ratio from chapter one of the textbook. And again, some of their major exports, they have this huge soybean production, and when you look at the back of any ingredients list, you're going to see a whole lot of soybean oils in it, and a lot of corn production, which is used in anything from regular oils, which a lot of the United States does as well, especially in Kansas, but they use a lot of their farming to make oils that they export and then they can bring in and import all of these other great tools for them. Thank you.